So Apple's big changes and how it affects DJs. Let's talk about this. Alright everybody, before we start the video, please navigate down, hit that subscribe button, make sure you ding that notification bell as well. Also make sure to like the video, and please, if you want to support the channel, head over to my Patreon page and subscribe. So if you haven't heard, and this is likely Cupertino's worst kept secret, Apple has been looking to change over its silicon. Now, in the past, there's been speculation on how this was going to happen, how long it would take us to get there, and now we have some definitive answers and how it's going to affect the DJ community as a whole. So first, and I cannot stress this enough, do not panic. This isn't happening overnight, and it's not like Apple doesn't have experience in moving into this type of realm. 15 years ago, they moved from PowerPC over to Intel, and while there were some headaches here and there, most people would consider what they did a general success. They moved an entire architecture from RISC to CISC, and now they're actually going back the opposite way. Now, I'm not going to deep dive into the whole architecture of RISC versus CISC, and if you're really interested in this, check out Linus Tech Tips video that I'm going to link below. But to boil this all the way down, Apple has been unhappy with the performance and cooling on Intel chips. Specifically for laptops, Apple has been dialing back the performance of these chips so heat can be manageable. And what I mean by manageable is just shy of basically being uncomfortable to use a laptop. These things can get pretty warm. Now, CISC architecture is far more efficient in executing code per clock cycle, which means you basically put less strain on the CPU, which means more performance. Now, they're already using their architecture on their watches, their phones, and iPads. So it already provides them with a lower cost since they're already building these chips for themselves, and now they have the entire control over the instruction set, which basically means even more performance and even more optimization on their chips. So with that out of the way, what's in store? Well, we already know that Apple at least has one more iteration of Intel-based equipment that's coming out this year. And we also know that Apple is going to be launching one of their new Apple Silicon-based machines by the end of this year as well. So there'll be an interesting transition between the two. Now, they've put on the calendar that this is going to last 2 years for the transition. So I'm assuming that by the end of the 2 years, all Apple products are going to be these RISC-based chips. Now, during the transition, there are going to be ways that Intel-based programs can run on these chips. A net benefit in all this is since Apple products will be using RISC-based chips, then running on mobile and laptop and desktop are essentially all viable options. So having, say, a full-blown copy of Serato or Virtual DJ on an iPad is totally a plausible scenario. Now, one mystery in all this is how the delivery of the applications are going to happen. Will Apple force everyone over to the App Store to make these transactions? And if so, what are the terms that they're going to be using? Are they going to be the same, or are they going to change? Just imagine you've built this entire ecosystem on the outside to be able to sell your application, and now you're going to have to conform to the App Store rules. Now, I suspect most companies are going to still want to stay on the Apple platform, so it's going to be an interesting, wait and see what's going to happen. So where does this leave us as a DJ community? Well, I don't think there's any real doom or gloom here. Apple products post-Apple Silica will still be supported both on Intel and these chips for some time. You have to think there are plenty of older laptops right now, especially that 2009 to 2012 MacBook era, which is very desirable for DJs looking for basically a cheap laptop that's very upgradable. But ultimately, those are going to fade over time, and those with the 2016 to currently the 2020 MacBooks right now will probably be safe for some time to come. So if you're looking to buy right now, I personally would recommend refurbished. You get a great bang for the buck. I currently bought a mid-2018 that was refurbished. I do have also a late 2018 because of the graphics card that's on it. But there's a lot of great deals that you can still buy in now. And again, it's still going to be some years before things fully change over. As for DJ programs like Virtual DJ, Serato, and Tractor, I have every thought and idea that they're going to absolutely move over to be compliant on these new RISC chips. There's just a substantial community of Mac users in our field that it would be really foolish if they just abandoned the platform altogether. if there's any shockwave, is going to be that one of these companies announce that they're not going to support Apple. I just do not see this happening. So in short, I don't think there's any doom and gloom here. It's going to take 2 years to fully transition over. There'll still be some years of support beyond that, and I'll be wholly surprised if all the programs that are not common for us to use don't get ported over. Well, there's the video, and I hope you liked it. If so, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Click subscribe below. Head over to my Patreon page if you want to support the channel. Naturally, if you like videos like this and want to see more, check out everything else on my channel. Everybody be safe and be well.